Today, we're going to learn about the accessibility features of Zoom and how to control it and how to use it. Stick around, we'll go ahead and learn all of that right now. The first thing we need to do is enable Zoom, and we do this by visiting Settings, General, Accessibility, Zoom, and we're going to go ahead and turn that on. So now you notice that the zoom is on, but how do you do it? So you're going to take 3 fingers and you're going to tap twice in an area you want to zoom, like this. 1, 2, and it zooms in. You do the same thing to zoom out. There's another method. You can also do the 2 tap with 3 fingers, but on that second tap you just drag up, and if you pull back it'll zoom out. Your next question might be, if you're zoomed in, how do I move around the screen? That's called panning, and what we're going to do is we're going to take those same 3 fingers and you can just drag on your screen to move around to see different parts of your phone. Now remember, your phone is still behaving the same way, it's just in zoom, so if you want to select something, you just touch it with your finger. Now that we know how to zoom in and out, let's take a deep dive into the different settings that Zoom has to offer. You'll see this next one that says Follow Focus, and it gives you a secondary option to zoom in the keyboard. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off just to show you what it does. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this note, and you'll notice that the keyboard doesn't zoom in, but everything else does. And you'll notice there's a slightly different interface for how to move around or pan around. We're going to go over that in just a little bit, so hang tight. So we're going to go back into our settings, and I'm going to zoom out just so we can go over some of these other settings. So just to show you, for example, if I turn on Zoom Keyboard and I go back into this note, when I zoom, you'll see it's a full screen zoom and that the keyboard is part of that zoom process. So this might not be ideal for typing. Our next setting is actually pretty cool. It's this one called Show Controller, and you get this little controller here. And the way that you use it is when you're in Zoom, it actually becomes like a little joystick for you to move around and pan instead of using 3 fingers. This is a fun setting, but it does take up some screen real estate. So what if you wanted to use that controller but not always have it be on screen? If you take 3 fingers and tap 3 times, you can easily get these options where you can show the controller or hide the controller. So if you're ever in the zoom mode and you want to use the little controller, all you have to do is tap 3 times with 3 fingers. Here's another example of me using it, just zoomed out just a little bit more. I suggest you give it a try just to try it out. I'm going to go ahead and hide this controller just by tapping 3 times and choose Hide Controller. Next on our list is an option called Zoom Region, and by default it's on full screen zoom. We're going to choose window zoom just to show you how it works. So I'm going to go ahead and tap 3 times and I'm going to choose Resize Lens. Now you'll see there's these 8 dots at each corner of the screen. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can change the size of this. Sorry, it's taking me just a moment, but I'm going to go ahead and just pull in the corners here, and there we go. Alright, so I'm going to make this little square here, and you'll notice if I grab that little line down at the bottom of that screen, I can pan around, and whenever I zoom, it only zooms in that little window, hence the window zoom. This is fun. If you take those same 3 fingers and tap 3 times, you'll see an option that says Choose Filter. I'm going to choose Inverted. That means whenever your window is zoomed in, it inverts the colors only within that window. It's kind of cool. So you'll see as I pan around, everything that was white turns black, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off that filter so there's none, but I just wanted to show you guys that. Now to make this window go away, just tap 2 times with 3 fingers and you'll see it'll go away. Tap again twice with 3 fingers and it comes up. Now I was going to show you that panning feature. So if you take this little white line here, touch it with 1 finger, and you can actually move it around and pan around with 1 finger just by dragging across the screen. Alright, and that was pretty much everything I wanted to show you. I did want to show you one more thing, and this is actually kind of cool. So if you go back to accessibility, go all the way down to the bottom, there'll be this accessibility shortcut, and we're going to go ahead and choose Zoom for our accessibility shortcut. So what you're going to do is you're going to click your home button 3 times rapidly, and what that does is it turns on the zoom feature or turns it off. So instead of going to Settings, General, Accessibility, Zoom, and turn it on or off, you can simply press your home button 3 times rapidly to activate Zoom. Press it 3 times again to turn it off. And you'll see I just turned mine off and now it doesn't zoom. Alright, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this.